Hey guys, Ron here, and for the past few years I've been turning basically everything into a Pokemon, and then a few months ago I finally decided to turn Poketubers into Pokemon. People who watch my channel watch other Pokemon YouTubers as well, so why not take a few of them, find out everything about them, and turn them into pocket monsters that embody their personality, interests, channel, and brand. But by now I know that a person's online persona is only a fraction of who they are as a person. If I were to create a Pokemon based on Poketubers, I would actually have to sit down and get to know them. I'm not just gonna take the superficial aspects of them, like their channel icon and favorite Pokemon, and turn that into a cheap caricature of their brand. Instead, I'm gonna interview them, find out who they are, and turn the actual person into a Fakemon. And most importantly, since they're part of the video, we get to actually see the reaction to the Fakemon they inspired. So if you enjoy, make sure to leave a like, check out the previous episode where I created a Loxton and Peachow Pokemon, and subscribe to let me know if you want to see a part 3. Today is a special occasion since we have two veterans. One has been part of the community longer than most Poketubers you know, but has seen a huge boom in popularity over the last few years with his challenges and collaborative content, while the other can be considered one of the fathers of Poketubing and has made a name for himself over the last decade with his gameplay content. How's it going, John?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I have to try to find a shiny freaking Charmander that blends into the grass. Oh, I already did it. I already did it. Are you kidding me? Let's go. Ah! Just.
So we're just turning you into a frog, right?
I mean, so here's the thing. People don't know this, but my favorite animal is actually elephant.
Oh, mine too.
Oh, really? They're incredible. But the thing is, for me, I like going out into the woods and finding frogs, finding lizards. So like, I had this idea so long ago of like, oh, I'll make a fan game with frogs and lizards and snakes and all of this. And the frogs were like the main thing, and that kind of stuck. I can't go out and find an elephant, and I also don't want to find them. They need to be protected. So
it'll be like there'll be a meter on screen. Like, are we leaning towards frog or elephant the entire time?
Yeah. I got to keep you on your toes.
Exactly. And so, weird first question: how tall are you?
6'3".
Frogs have long legs,
Yeah.
but elephants are also famously big. So
very big.
So this is doable. We'll go straight to the channel. Why did you pick the name of your channel? And originally it was Pokemon 7.
I really wanted to make a website. I've always been pretty creative, but it's like I wanted to make it, right? And I was sitting there in my basement trying to come up with what's the name of the stupid website? What's the name? What's the name? What's the name? My mom came down, she's doing laundry. She's like, just come up with a name. Like, what? You've been here for 4 hours. It's like, Pokemon, sure, whatever. I don't know. If it's a Pokemon forum, like, I don't think there'll be a lot of girls around here, so this will work. I think it was A-Drive's like, dude, no one can find your channel. They look it up and they say, oh, did you mean Pokemon? So I just added 7 because it's my favorite number.
When was this? How long ago was that?
It was sophomore year of high school. I didn't make the basketball team. Everyone on the team thought I was going to be starting. Like, I went through all the tryouts. Everyone's like, yeah, like, of course you got to have him. I was the last person not to make it, and all of a sudden, like, 3 hours of my day opened up. So I dove into the creative side of me. I wasn't someone that I thought like I'd be in front of a camera and doing something. I wasn't the class clown, or I didn't want all eyes on me. But really? YouTube's different because it's a camera and there's no one else here. But there is a lot of people also here, but I can't see them.
I'm not here either.
No, you're not. When
you first created your channel, what was the channel about? What did you do?
Nothing changed. Shiny hunting. I did Poke Radar shiny hunting, and then someone got me into like a legendary only tournament that I ended up winning, and that's how I got into competitive Pokemon. There was this like really at the time popular creator in Pokemon. I don't remember who they were, but they liked my channel art, so they botted my channel from like 100 subscribers to like 1,000. And I was so happy because my next video got like 300-400 views, and I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Then the next video went back to having like 10 views, and I was crushed. I'm like, wait, this isn't a real shout out. These aren't real people. He just bought, why did he do this? I ended up eventually making a new channel because I was so crushed. I was like, why? I have all these subscribers and no one's watching. Like now I just feel worse about myself. I hate this. This is so much worse.
When did you transition into doing a bunch of live streams, for example?
That was after college. There was a lot of times where there'd be a break and something bad would happen. I remember Ultra Sun and Moon comes out, and I realized, wait a minute, the Ultra Wormhole, what if I just stream this new thing? And all of a sudden my streams went from like 100 people to over 1,000 as I was the only person doing that for some reason. And the numbers were incredible. My channel was blowing up. Everything was great. But then my internet got throttled and it got so bad. I had to contact like the highest branch of like the people in charge of the internet to like talk to my internet service provider.
Mr. Internet.
Yeah, basically, I went, Mr. Internet, I need you to talk to my ISP. This is unlawful. And as soon as they actually talked to the ISP, everything magically changed.
Oh.
But I had to go away. I had to move to my dad's. Like, I had to go to a different state to try to get back to streaming and making videos. But by the time I got back to it, all of it had really gone away. Other people had started streaming what I was doing at the same time, so people kind of filtered over to those streams. And I was never able to recapture that magic, and it crushed me.
Wow, so there's a lot of peaks and valleys in your career. That's pretty crazy. And then when would you say modern PM7 began?
I think the final part of that, the peaks and valleys, is we get the Sword and Shield. I looked around and everyone I followed on Twitter was just complaining, the Sword and Shield hype is gone. It's gone. Views are down. Gone. Hype. No. Oh no. What are we gonna do? So I took a step back and kind of looked around. And that's when I saw a Small Ant video. Small Ant's getting 2-3 million views. And I kind of got angry. I was like, do we not have enough pride as a Pokemon community of like Nintendo Man out here is getting 3 million views? I watched this podcast that Ludwig had done with a top like YouTube mind. They talked for like 4 hours. I watched it 3 times, took all these notes, and then I just started diving into general YouTube and just kind of thought, well, what from other YouTube can I bring here? It kind of snowballed, and I did every trainer has legendary Pokemon, and then I did Pokemon, but they randomly evolve every level, like back to back to back, and that's when PM7 became PM7.
Once you treated Pokemon YouTube as just YouTube and took inspiration from YouTube in general, that's when the biggest Pokemon YouTube channels start thriving, I guess.
It's hard to be the odd one out of like, well, what if I do this thing no one else is doing? Am I doing something really smart? Am I doing something really stupid? And you have to kind of take that leap of faith. We're all doing things that are working decently well, but that next big thing, no one's done yet. So why can't it be you?
Now I think of it, you were probably the first Poketuber that I met in person.
Really?
You, Alex, and Elliot in New York.
A good memory. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like you have a mascot, right? What about iconography that your channel is associated with?
I've had so many channels. I've had so many mascots. Frogs in general, like we have the Playmore, like the draft league team we've brought back. We got the frog logo there, and we call that Frog Bubby. So you could say either of those could be the mascot, but it naturally became frogs. And it was all natural moments. Like I decided, well, I want to play a difficult Pokemon game. People don't really know I'm good at Pokemon because I do more silly ideas at this point. What if I try to beat Radical Red only using frogs? and that, it was a fun video. It was super difficult, and that did well. And then I got into a Fall Guys tournament with Purple Cliff. And Purple Cliff wanted to dress up like his Fall Guy. And my Fall Guy was a frog. So I put on a frog costume I'd bought for a video that never actually ended up going out there. So I ended up like coming in second in this huge tournament with all these huge creators way bigger than me dressed as a frog. And that's where that came from. I didn't just kind of like, it'd be funny if I did this. Like, no, I'm in front of like Courage and all these other huge YouTubers.
Would you say is competitive your favorite aspect or shiny hunting? What's your favorite aspect of Pokemon?
I think my favorite aspect of Pokemon is the fact that I don't always have to have a favorite. I started with shiny hunting and then immediately went to competitive. And then got into like Nuzlocke runs, and there's always something new.
Well, that doesn't help. What would you say is your favorite type of competitive Pokemon?
I really like bulky offensive Pokemon. If I got a bulky Pokemon in, soak up a hit, maybe they got a switch. Now I can start to get them on the back foot and predict their next move. I really liked like Reuniclus. Everyone likes Magic Guard Reuniclus. I like Regenerator Reuniclus.
What about like type? Any favorite like type of Pokemon? Like elemental type? Fighting
was always my favorite. At one point, Scrafty was the channel mascot, and then it was like, who's this hoodlum Scrafty guy? Maybe I need to change things.
You started your channel during Gen 5, right?
Tail end of Gen 4, beginning of Gen 5.
Whoa. Yeah. You're like really OG.
Nobody who watches my channel knows that, and sometimes it kind of, I don't know if it bothers me, but I think on that of like, it's odd. It's odd that like 10 years of what I did is forgotten or irrelevant, but it's just like, I know I am looked at as a new school creator.
I mean, you had exponential growth, right? So it's like,
yes, yeah.
There's, pros and cons to that.
Absolutely, and I will take the pros. It's
the
one of those,
pros
like,
definitely outweigh the cons. Your career really is an anomaly. It's like,
yeah,
I can't think of, other than Purple Cliff, really, I can't think of other channels that like had such exponential growth and maintained it.
It's very interesting. I think like with Purple Cliff especially, me and Jack came up together. Everything I learned, I just gave him every single thing I learned. Every single thing I learned, I then gave to Mikey. And that's when he, M&J TV plays, all of a sudden, it skyrockets. Mm-hmm. Everything I learned, me and Wolfie started talking. I gave him thoughts. I heard I still don't know if it's true, but I remember giving a lot of these thoughts to Elliot at the time. And he didn't do as much with it. And I think he gave a lot of it to Peachal. In my head, I kind of thought like, okay, if I have all these great ideas, I can be known as the idea guy and people will kind of associate me with creative ideas. But I did so many collaborative videos and I gave people ideas. So I think I kind of, for some people, became known as like the glue guy of like Mikey and Jack. Well, there was a glue that, brought these two different people together for a while. And that is a very good skill. It's a very bad one if you're trying to be a solo content creator, to be the unseen force that can bring different people together.
But let's now talk about nothing to do with Pokemon. The rest of the interview, no Pokemon. Forget it exists.
Okay.
Your channel's done now.
My parents were big on like, go outside. Like, you want to play video games? Have you been outside for 6 hours? So I was always outside, like playing sports with friends, or I remember with the neighbors, we'd go into like the woods and make like forts and play pretend at different things, make little creative stories, but just like, yeah.
Is basketball your favorite sport or football or what?
It is. Basketball is my favorite to play. It wasn't always, but I grew into it and it quickly became my favorite. But I think football has always been my favorite to watch. And eventually I kind of realized, man, this hurts. So I'd play like after school where no one had pads. We shouldn't have been doing it looking back. I remember getting sandwiched a few times like, this isn't super fun. This hurts.
It was funny. I was scared of like balls.
Sure.
I was scared of sports balls. Yeah. So like I would rarely play, but I was more scared of the basketball than football because like I got like injured one time, like the ball like hit my finger like at the wrong angle.
Oh.
And I've literally not played basketball since I was 12.
It's a weird sport because it's like the skill level is so drastic. So if you don't know what you're doing out there, it's like, stop passing me the ball.
Yeah,
like,
don't pass me the ball. It's just that the ball is underratedly hard. I mean, people call it the rock.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, pass the rock.
Pass the rock. All right, but like basketball seems to be a big part of your life. Would you say is that the non-Pokemon thing that is biggest in your life?
I mean, I'd say basketball is a big one. I mean, kind of like collecting in general, I'd say is a big part of my personality. Because even like, I didn't go and collect like the salamanders in the woods, but I'd want to go and find all the different variations. Let them go, of course, but like lift up the log. Ooh, look, here's a really cool salamander. Look at him go. I really liked going out and finding things. Or if I'm on the beach, let me get all the different things of sea glass or the shells. Like I really like looking and finding interesting things.
I'm having a good idea. Question, what do you like about elephants?
I think part of it is just the fact that they're big. Elephants are so smart, and like the more and more you learn about an elephant, the more interesting and just majestic and wonderful. Like there's the size, the strength, but then even like the memory they have and the things where they truly care about different things, and they seem really fascinating.
Three-dimensional as opposed to other animals that have like one personality,
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, thank you.
How do you think your friends and family would describe you as a person?
Probably overthinker. It would be probably the first thing. Thinks a lot, maybe talks a lot, but very caring. I like trying to read other people and figure out what's going on there. What can I do to make them happy? And the defining thing for me was always being tall, which is weird because online, everyone's always thought I was short. My nicknames would be like, I'd play basketball and kids are like, Big John, cause I'm tall. Not a great nickname, but like, that's what they're throwing out there. So you get online and that's your big defining characteristic. And they're like, what are you, 5'6", 5'4"? Like, I mean, it doesn't matter, but like, no.
Any kinds of environments that you enjoy?
I have to be very comfortable in my surroundings. I don't like big groups. I like one-on-one connection or just a few friends together. And that's where I feel the most comfortable in myself, and what you see on camera is who I am when I feel comfortable. I'm decently anxious, so I like my safe places.
Now, that was a perfect answer, but what's hilarious is that when I meant environment, I meant like a mountain.
Realistically, like New England's environments of like the, the woods and going to like a, a lake or a pond, like just being out in nature.
Favorite color?
Yellow.
Second favorite color?
I really like combinations, like yellow and red is always very cool.
No, this is perfect. Thank you very much.
To hear it. I think the funny thing on my side is like, I don't want the spotlight to be on me. So it's
too
like,
bad.
Yeah, I know, it's all about me, and it's like, well, what can I do to make this easier for you? Like, how do we figure, like, but I'm like, no, I gotta step back. Whatever he comes up with is what he comes up with.
You could pay me. So this is gonna go as expected. I'm making a basketball playing frog. It'll be holding a rock that's on fire. I'd make it a starter, but I don't want to limit its abilities to blaze and just one other ability. The most important aspect is the fact that it'll be top heavy and bulky. Since I'm not making an elephant, I want to create a Pokemon that still embodies some aspects of John and I's favorite animal, like an elephant's size and intelligence. That's why it looks friendly yet competitive. Since John likes defensive Pokemon, even at the expense of their speed, I don't want to make this Pokemon look too sleek, but it's a tall frog, so that's kind of tough. What's even tougher is that since I'm making it look muscular and padded, it doesn't look tall. It looks wide and, honestly, too much like a real frog. I gave it patterns that resemble the trails of lava flowing down a mountain. These lines will help shape the patterns that look like basketball shorts and jerseys. This Pokemon collects rocks, like how John likes to collect, and originally I wanted this Pokemon to be fire rock type and have rocks stuck to it, but it ended up looking too messy with all the rock warts, and firefighting seems like a more useful type combo. I added John's favorite combination of colors, but with this pose and color configuration, it honestly just looks like a real frog holding a ball of fire. It didn't look like a Pokemon, and most importantly, it didn't look tall or bulky, and that was the most important part of its identity. So I basically took the exact same idea and just reworked it to consist of less realistic shapes, gave it a much bulkier upper body, and lankier limbs. I didn't want to give it the original pose because it's actually supposed to look stiff. Its body is padded and muscular. It's made to block, not be super flexible and fast. Here is Dribbleleap, the center Pokemon, a firefighting type. Dribbleleap are team players who cherish a tight-knit group. They spend their time collecting precious stones in the wilderness, which they light on fire and shoot at opponents. Dribbleleap have thick, rubbery skin, allowing them to calmly guard their fireball throughout the battle as they assess their potential strategies. They tower over most foes, but will display respectable sportsmanship by giving their opponent a pretty pebble as consolation for their loss.
I'm excited. I'm nervous. I don't know if I'm ever going to have someone make a Pokemon for me again like this. This is a very unique experience. 3, 2, 1. Let's see it. Oh, wait a second. Are you kidding me? This thing is so sick. Oh, man. Wow, you could have flip-flopped the shiny and the regular one, and I'd be excited about both colors. I mean, this is crazy. My favorite typing ever since I was a kid was fighting. And like, as I've gotten older, I have different favorites of just different types, this, that, and the other. But I always find my way back to fighting. Regenerator and Pickup, that's perfect. Regenerator, an ability I absolutely love. And then Pickup probably fits me as a person more. Unburden, ooh. Oh, that is a cool ability. And that goes with the stats perfectly. Wow. Gotta pick between Regenerator. Maybe you throw an Assault Vest on this guy. You're hoping it can sneak around and get U-turn. I don't know, it just makes me think of like middle school. I used to walk around my old neighborhood with a basketball. Every time I'd go outside, I'd just practice dribbling. So I just go up and down the street, go see friends. Just always had a basketball in my hand. A smile on my face, just like this frog. I love the colors so much. This just makes me happy. They tower over most foes, but will display respectful sportsmanship by gifting their opponent a pretty pebble as consolation. I almost couldn't get it through the end of that because that's very funny. I very much remember playing like high-level basketball, and I just started a very friendly conversation on the court because what's more demoralizing than a very sincere, nice conversation? Then you know, I score on you, go back down, now we're back in conversation. People didn't like that a lot, but it's harder to get mad at someone being kind. Maybe I should gift more people pretty pebbles. Maybe I'll take after the Pokemon taking after me. I see the vision, I like it. Their color is inspired by your favorite color combination, which was also the logo color combination for PM7, or well, Pokemon 7 before the rebrand, the original PM7 logo. Their general bulk and thick hide is based on an elephant's, along with the juxtaposition between their size and emotional intelligence. Absolutely love that. Their height is obviously yours. It was tough making a Pokemon both slender and bulky. I appreciate that. I think I would have been a little hurt if this was just like a very rotund frog. A 3-foot, very portly frog. They enjoy collecting like you. Yeah, no, pickup really is probably the best ability to describe me. Fun fact, this Pokemon stores the stones it collects in the holes on its back. Ooh, like how some frogs have back holes that they store eggs in. Oh, I love that. You flip it around and it just has like sparkly rare gems on its back, or just, I don't know, rocks that are then turned into fireballs they fire at people. Thank you so much for making this, Ron. This is one of the coolest things anyone's done for me, especially in like the Pokemon space. I love it so much. You absolutely nailed it. Can't wait to see what you make next, man.
I'm so glad he liked it. Honestly, John, he deserves way more. He deserves a whole roster of Fakemon. But it's time for our second guest. How's it going, Shady?
I'm doing pretty good today. How about yourself? Doing pretty good.
I'm okay.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Okay. Well, I'll bring the energy down. Sorry. We'll bring it down to okay. Wait a minute. I just realized that when I make that joke, it's actually really funny. Because Professor Oak's name is Samuel, and he
hands out the starters.
Oh, I am so funny subconsciously. That's crazy.
Both of the guests in this episode are named John. Or John.
Oh, really? Oh, that's crazy. Oh, is it PM7?
It's PM7, yeah.
Nice, cool.
Also, both of you guys are associated with a specific animal, and it's gonna be hard to not stray from that. Because like right now in my head, yeah, I'm gonna probably turn you into a shady penguin.
Yeah, into some sort of penguin. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just part of the branding, right? What are you gonna do?
I guess the first question really is why Shady Penguin? Why did you pick that name?
Penguin was my favorite animal, right? I just love penguins. Penguins and foxes were my two favorite animals, and like kind of inspired because, you know, my favorite Pokemon are Vulpix and then Empoleon, right? It's not even Delibird. Delibird's actually not. That's something everyone thinks. Delibird's not. I like Delibird. I think it's cool. I didn't want to do Piplup, and I didn't really. I think someone else may have already been Empoleon back in 2013 when I was making the channel. I remember this now perfectly. I was sitting upstairs at my best friend's house, and the only penguin Pokemon I could think of was Delibird. And I was literally like, man, am I really gonna make a whole YouTube channel around Delibird? This is not, like, Delibird is one of the worst Pokemon in the game. And I really liked the idea of being shady because I knew that going into YouTube, I was gonna make PG content. And I knew I was gonna be like a little bit more clean because that's just kind of how I live my life. So I liked the idea of taking shady, which was a negative, dark, you know, this guy's up to no good word, and being the complete opposite of it.
You picked Shady Penguin because you're not Shady Penguin.
Yes, it literally chose shady because I did not want to be a shady person online. Yeah, literally that. If you gave me the ability right now to go back in time and choose Empoleon, I wouldn't, because I think Delibird is a much better representation of subverting expectation. It's this penguin with dark circles under his eyes who's just delivering sandwiches all the time and delivering presents, right? So I think it actually fits exactly what I ended up kind of becoming, especially because you don't know when you don't know what's actually coming out of his bag. And I've changed my channel so many times that it's the same exact thing. I don't know if my present's going to be healing you, going to do 25 damage, or it's going to do 100 damage. I have no idea.
You are now associated with beards, and
yes,
and Delibird does have a beard, which is a coincidence. Like that wasn't planned.
No, that was. I had no idea that I could grow this thing when I chose Delibird. No idea, but he does have a pretty thick beard. Goes down to his feet. So
well, that's the problem. So when we want to make a shady penguin Pokemon, you're like, all right, a bearded penguin, but that literally exists.
That's so true.
So you started at the tail end of Gen 5.
Yep.
What was the content, right? Like from the beginning?
Like I uploaded a bunch of random stuff, right? But I would say when I actually started doing content was when I started doing Wi-Fi battles for X and Y. I think I started a Pokemon X playthrough, but I really fell in love with doing Wi-Fi battles because that was really the content I watched all through Gen 5. Like I watched like Pokemosh Pit, Shofu, Joey. Like I was consuming Wi-Fi battles nonstop. No one that I watched did live Wi-Fi battles. It was always post commentary, to be blunt. I sucked at Pokemon. I was awful, but I loved it. So my whole shtick in 2014 was like, I'm bad, but you should watch me because I will eventually get good.
You did. I mean, to the point where you were commentating official Pokemon matches.
I know, it's really, really cool. Super cool dream life for sure. But it did work. So if you can take something that exists and do it a little differently, because you're like, I was lacking in the skill department. So I made up for that by changing the formula.
If you're not going to do it the best, do it differently. That was the beginning of my first era of ShadyPenguinn, or like the second era?
I don't consider the other. It was like a pilot episode, I guess. And they had to go back to the room and they did not like the pilot.
They're like, add a beard. Now we like it.
Yes, literally, dude. Seriously. Shofu was camless. Hayden was camless. Like, no one used face cam with their Wi-Fi battles. The webcam introduction was really like the first real season of ShadyPenguinn.
You're definitely right, because when I go back, I'm even surprised that some people, like even Luke, didn't have face cam until way later.
I think Duel Links came out in 2016. And I'm pretty sure, I think it was 2016. And I pretty much just stopped playing. I stopped playing Pokemon because I had this ego where I did not want to make content in any way if I wasn't enjoying it. So it's not that I started to dislike Pokemon, but there was something else that I started to like more. And that hadn't happened yet. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to make videos on Duel Links. Why not? Because I'm enjoying it. The content will be better because I'm enjoying it. And I had so much fun during that era. The only reason why that era stopped was because at the end of the day, it's a mobile game. And I was spending like hundreds of dollars a month, if not $1,000 a month, to keep up with the meta so that I could make the best videos, right? There was a point in my career where Nintendo wanted me to host E3. I think it was E3 2016 or 2017. But I was playing a Pokemon fan game at the time. And they basically said, hey, can you remove this? If you stop uploading this and remove it, you can have the gig. And I basically told them no and said, like, I have so many videos I would have to go back and delete, and then I'd have so much content that I would not be able to make in the future. And they basically said, all right, well, you're done. And that was basically that. And that wasn't with the Pokemon company. That was with Nintendo. And but I think having that kind of opportunity, both given and taken away, definitely made me be like, okay, maybe I want to, ironically, I'm going to take a little break from Pokemon. I'm going to play Fire Emblem, a strictly Nintendo game. It ended up being kind of a cool thing because then they hired a new world's host, Anna Prosser, and she ended up being one of my best friend's wife. So like, it was this weird unintentional passing of the torch. After Fire Emblem, I took time off. It's a very common problem for gaming creators is like, why would you ever sit in your bed and play Pokemon when you could just stream Pokemon? I had to relearn how to play games by myself. And now what's kind of great is my son and my daughter's old enough to play games with me. So now they'll sit with me and we'll play like whatever. We'll play like old games like Legend of Zelda. They'll want to run around and cut the grass, collect rupees, and then I'll go and use the rupees. And that's a whole other social aspect of it, right? I think it was in 2022 probably. Like Luke was my buddy and he was running with this new crew. United Hayes, Dylan, Nintendo, Vinny, all of them. And they were doing Then We Fight. And I approached them and said, hey, those look like fun because they're like low risk Wi-Fi battles. There's so much more luck involved that you can just make fun content out of it. Since then, that's what I've done. And it's worked really well.
Were you the first to do the fusion Then We Fight?
Yes, my fusion videos would not have been anywhere near as good if I wasn't on call with Luke that day because I would have never have known how to do model edits.
But I definitely remember the release of that video because I was developing the same exact idea.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
We were just going to do we were going to draw the Fakemon and just battle on Showdown.
Okay. Yeah.
But then you released it literally when we were coming up with the idea and then I'm like, okay. That's better.
That's
actual
crazy.
Game.
I mean, it's definitely. Yeah, I guess so. But there's a whole Showdown community, right? So it's like it definitely.
True.
It still could pop.
In terms of Pokemon now, favorite Pokemon? Maybe top 3, 5.
Yeah. Okay, Vulpix is my favorite Pokemon. Vulpix Ninetales. We're just gonna smush them together. Once again, Fox Pokemon Fire. I love that. I love Crocodile.
Very shady.
Yeah, definitely a literal shady Pokemon. 100%. I love Yveltal. I know, another shady Pokemon. I get it. But it's literally part of the coolest duo. It's it's the death component of the mortality duo.
It seems like you like also the combination of red and black.
Yeah. Red is my favorite color, I would say. If I can't get red, I go cyan. I like Hisui and Samurott a lot. That's another shady Pokemon, though, dude. I'm typecasted so hard. It's so funny.
You said Ninetales. I'm like, okay, we're going to be able to stray away from the shady Pokemon, and then the rest were all literally the most shadiest Pokemon.
Okay, to be fair, Vulpix Ninetales is my favorite, right? So it's above all the shadiness. And I would say Another Pokemon that I think is super underrated is Reuniclus.
Reuniclus is getting a lot of screen time because John also talked
Oh,
about
really?
how much he loved Reuniclus. Oh, wait, what is your favorite type?
If I say dark type
Don't
because
do it.
I can't, because I know, but it's like, but I see these dark type Pokemon. I'm like, yo, that's a sick design. Yveltal looks sick. Even Honchkrow is such a cool Pokemon. I have to say dark, but my second favorite is fire.
Like, where are you?
Yeah, I'll give like a little bit of info. I live in Long Island, so I'm in New York. I live a little more out east, so we're close to a lot of farmland, a lot of vineyards, a lot of animals, a lot of woods. I literally grew up, my house was on a dead end, and then behind us is just acres of woods. And we had like dirt bike paths, which obviously we just use our bikes on, but we had like jumps made out of dirt. We would play laser tag back there. I've always lived right near the woods, which is cool because, you know, all the kids would come out, we'd go play manhunt.
What's Manhunt?
Manhunt? So manhunt is like hide and seek, but you don't leave your spot.
So that's just hide and seek with less steps. I feel like Manhunt is more of an appropriate name for hide and seek.
Probably. It might be. We collected a lot of cards, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z. Super competitive family. Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. Pretty humble life, but they did right by us for sure growing up. My mom worked really, really hard. My dad did too. My mom worked extra hard. She would work like 12 to 14 hours overnight.
Your dad being a dude, it seems like you tried to... From the outside, it seems like a family is a huge part of your life.
Yes, they absolutely are, 100%. So from when I was about 7 or 8 years old, this is gonna sound a little insane, but I always knew that I wanted to have a daughter named Abigail. Like I knew I wanted to be a father. Thankfully, my wife loved the name too. So, but I just knew, like, I don't know what it was. I wanted little abs, and probably because I never had abs myself.
Prove it.
Yeah, I can't really prove that I never had them, but I can prove that I don't right now. Leading up to Abby getting into kindergarten, I was like, man, how are you gonna reel this in? Because you work so much. You are in your office so much. But thankfully, this year has been really, really healthy for my family and all of us. And like 3:30 comes, I'm out of the office and I'm just upstairs for the next 5 hours with the kids and stuff. And then if I need any other work to do, I can do it afterwards. But truthfully, I didn't even want to do that because then my wife suffers.
So forget your family exists. What's another aspect that you think is a big part of your life?
I would say friendship. Since 2009, my friends and I have gotten together, I would say 50 out of the 52 weeks. We have a group of like 8 to 12 of us, and we have what we call friendship. And friendship is, we literally call it friendship, like, hey, we're having friendship today. We still, every week, we'll hit each other up, and we'll, 3 out of 4 weeks out of the month, we'll be at someone's house hanging out.
By now, you're doing friendship too.
Yeah, literally, yes, 100%.
I mean, what are your like interests other than Pokemon?
I love music, so I play bass and I play guitar, and I play a little bit of piano.
Is that known on YouTube? Do people know this?
Yeah, I think some people do. I was fortunate enough, lucky enough to get to do a couple of covers with my friend Nate. So we did a couple covers.
Yeah!
When I was a kid, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a musician. Like I even had like a YouTube channel when I was 16 or whatever. Once, at some point when people get tired of watching a bearded grown man play Pokemon, I think the next thing I do is music for sure.
What about skills? Do you have any skills?
I can change a diaper. Like that, like I'm so good at it, bro. Like,
what's funny that actually could affect the people.
That's amazing.
But what kind of environments do you enjoy being around?
I love the mountains. My grandpa, my wife's grandpa, has a cabin in the mountains. That's where we spend as much time as we can. When we can go there, we go there.
Okay. What's your favorite time of day?
Sounds pretty shady and typical, but I like twilight. Like I like when the sun is setting.
Any power you would have?
I'm such a teleportation sucker, man.
Yeah, everybody says it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. It's just so convenient. It's so good. If I never had to fly again and I could just be in Japan at my ramen shop and then come back home, that's crazy.
Favorite number?
7. Yes, I know that's a basic answer, but I've been telling chat to say 7 since 2015. Oh, okay, we'll say this. My second favorite number is 1912.
It doesn't help because I can't put it in a stat distribution.
Why? You can't give him 1912 attack? Come on.
And I don't want to give him 19 or 12 for
That's
any
fair.
stat.
Yep.
Do you have any favorite ability?
I love speed boost. I love being able to click protect and get faster.
You just want to get to a place. You know.
I know, you're right. I mean, you're not wrong. I definitely am obsessed with like efficiency and getting to whatever the goal that has been set.
Check this out, Shady.
Whoa!
So we're gonna make a paternal penguin with a long beard. Instead of being dark type, its shadiness will be represented by the ghost type, since Shady isn't actually shady. By giving it the fire type, it will actually represent light. This fire beard and crest will be a beacon of hope. The classic tuxedo-wearing penguin trope is utilized by making this Pokemon a conductor, highlighting Shady's musical abilities. That's why it has 2 coattails. This Pokemon looks like a penguin version of a kitsune from Japanese myth. Like, what if there was a penguin yokai? I by mistake didn't record the coloring process, but as you see, it gains red and cyan, Shady's favorites, with patterns on the stomach that look like buttons, eyes, and even chakra points. It's a very spiritual Pokemon. Here is Penguinn, the guide Pokemon, a fire ghost type. As twilight falls, Penguinn stoically guard the forest with their spectral fire. When it finds lost children, it will guide them until they reach safety, humming a tune to calm them down. It absorbs the negative emotions of those it helps, burning those emotions in its ever-growing fire beard. In battle, Penguinn will swipe at its opponents, conducting a colorful display of flames. They have a signature move, Symphonic Flame, a colorful special and sound-based move that deals 80 damage and lowers the opponent's attack by 1 stage.
Whoa! Yo! Wait, can we just make this real? Okay, so you made a penguin. The shiny is crazy, dude. Oh, it's just as tall as me. That's wild. Well, actually, I'm not 5'4", never mind. But it's like the size of a humanoid. That's very cool. Oh, speed boost. So I did get the speed boost hidden ability. Okay, look at that special attack. Holy Hannah. Okay, as twilight falls, my favorite time of day, Penguinn stoically guard the forest with their spectral fire. When it finds its lost children, it will guide them until they reach safety, humming a tune to calm them down. Dude, this is incredible. They have a signature move, Symphonic Flame, a colorful, special, and sound-based move that deals 80 damage and lowers the opponent's attack by 1 stage. So that's crazy. It's like Torch Song, but instead of buffing your own special, you're neutering a physical attacker. That's really cool. I gotta look at this again. Fire Ghost. I mean, yeah, from the Pokedex entry, I immediately knew it was Fire Ghost, even though when I opened it, I went straight to the Coat of Many Colors instead of the Fire Ghost typing. Friend Guard, I like that a lot. That's fitting because of the conversation we had. That's cool. The classic tuxedo-wearing penguin trope is utilized by making this Pokemon a conductor, highlighting your musical abilities. That's really cool, man. Your favorite and second favorite colors are beautifully showcased. Facts, it lives in the forest behind your childhood home. Ooh. That's crazy. It is great with children and loyal to its friends. I tried to give it mythological vibes to the Kyubi no Kitsune-based Ninetales. Yeah, I could tell that right away for sure. I definitely got straight up Ninetales vibes, which is really, really cool to see. And it's hard to tell this Pokemon's intentions. Like, it's hard to tell the outcome of Delibird's gifts and the kind of content that is on your channel. Yeah, I mean, literally, you absolutely crushed. I would say I don't think it could be better. Also, the fact that you pulled off a fire penguin by making it a ghost. But I'm just a little sad about the kids, man. The lost kids kind of break my heart. But seriously, you crushed it. Thank you for involving me in this. It's incredible, incredible Fakemon.
You're welcome, my dude. Let me know which other Poketubers you guys might want to see in a potential part 3. And for that to happen, you need to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Check out the previous part or my other videos where I invite 10 other Poketubers and we create a Pokemon together, or any of my other Fakemon creation videos. Open the description for the music I used, the t-shirts I made for you guys, where you can get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early, which you could also get by pressing the join button. Follow me on Twitter, where I post sneak peeks of my designs, and final art too. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!